Good evening and welcome to Sunday Politics on Trust TV, your platform for in-depth conversations on politics, policy and governance. I am Hamza Idris. Tonight, we take a look at the shockwaves that followed the defections of 3 PDP senators in Kebbi State to the ruling APC as stakeholders in the state continue to react to the development that has altered political calculations in the northwestern states. Those who defected are Senator Adamu Alero, representing Kebbi Central. He is a former governor and a prominent political figure in the region. Senator Yahaya Abubakar Abdullahi, representing Kebbi North, had served in various political capacities, including as Senate Majority Leader in the National Assembly. And Senator Garba Maidoki, representing Kebbi South, is also a significant political actor in the state. They defected together with many of their supporters. While some see the political move by the lawmakers as strategic, others describe it as self-serving and a desperate move to survive the APC hurricane, with concerns the action might change their constituents. And to keep a tab on the changing political dynamics in the country, we'll also be beaming our satellite on the ongoing opposition negotiations to form a formidable front against the ruling APC government. To help us break it all down is Abubakar Na Janku. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you. Good evening.
Yes. But before we delve into the conversation, here are some major stories in the polity. Former Vice President and 2023 People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, his counterpart in the Labour Party Peter Obi, and other prominent politicians like Rotimi Amechi, Kashim Ibrahim Imam, Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed, Adolphus Wabara, and Babashir Lawal were among the hundreds of people who attended a pro-Arewa meeting organized by the National Political Consultative Group in Abuja on Sunday. There are suggestions that a prominent general from the north has a hand in the activities of the group, but we are still trying to find out the level of his involvement. While the exact purpose and scope of the group remains unclear, it is believed to be a coalition platform being explored by northern political stakeholders in preparation for the 2027 presidential election. The meeting has drawn several prominent political figures, party leaders, and elder statesmen amid growing discussions of a possible grand coalition among opposition parties to take over power from the APC. Our correspondents report that the meeting at the Abuja Continental Hotel was briefly disrupted following a disagreement over representation from Jigawa State. Tensions rose when the former secretary to the government of the Federation, Babashir Lawal, announced a delegate to speak for the state. But in protest, several Jigawa delegates stormed the stage, blocking the individual from speaking and insisting they would not be represented by those named. Calm was, however, restored after minutes with appeals as Mustafa Lamido, son of the former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido, along with another delegate, was chosen to speak on behalf of the state. We have some clips from there.
And I've always said the North can change Nigeria. The greatest aspect of this country is in the North. From oil, from farm, agriculture, that we make some oil. And I'm starting to prove in everything. This entire country produces less than 6 million tons of rice. That is less than 10% of what Bangladesh produces. Bangladesh is a country that lives on 148,600 square kilometers of land. That is the size of 2 northern states. Niger has 76.3 and Borno has 70.8. Equal to Bangladesh.
That was Peter Obi in the midst of northern technocrats and politicians. Closely related to this, division has crept into the African Democratic Congress, ADC, following reports of its adoption by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and the 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, as a platform to challenge President Bola Tinubu in 2027. Amid the unfolding drama, A national daily reported that the party quietly amended its constitution to grant equal rights and privileges to incoming members, a move impregnated by insiders as a strategic step to accommodate high-profile defectors ahead of the coalition. However, the move sparked resistance among some state officials who vowed not to relinquish their positions to new entrants. While a few expressed openness to leadership changes in the spirit of unity, others insisted they would not step aside for the new power blocks. And coming closer home in the Federal Capital Territory, the minister in Wike has said that he has pulled out of all previous agreements reached to resolve the lingering crisis in the People's Democratic Party, vowing to fight until justice is attained. The FCT minister alleged that Governor Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State is the architect of the party's present problems, alleging that non-adherence to agreements reached remains the bane of the party. In a statement on Sunday titled PDP Crisis, My Position, which he personally signed, the minister insisted that solutions reached that Senator Samuel Anyanwu remained the National Secretary of the PDP in tandem with the Supreme Court judgment. All legal matters relating to Rivers State must be withdrawn by the National Legal Advisor, the suit on the state of emergency be withdrawn forthwith, and that nobody should deviate from the agreements so reached must be respected by all the parties involved. And viewers, you will also have the opportunity to call midway into the program and share your thoughts on the talking points of the conversation. Once again, welcome to Sunday Politics. Abubakar NaJanku, welcome once again.
Thank you.
Maybe I should start with the last tidbit, because the first two tidbits, have to do with the major theme of our conversation. You can see Wike reeling out more conditionalities for PDP to have peace. Will PDP ever have peace?
PDP will not have peace, because through the actions of Ezenwo, yes, and Wike, PDP has basically been torn into shreds. You have to understand that Wike is a very, very, Wike's thirst for power, for political power, will never allow PDP to settle. So it beats, it makes me laugh when Wike says he will fight for justice. Which justice? Now, there have been insinuations that Wike will always have his way with the judiciary, this and that. So if Wike has his way with judiciary, why is he saying that his party should not, sue in court for against the emergency that was
But he said the court said, Anyanwu, even though that is contestable also. People believe that the Supreme Court left that
exactly
hanging,
unsaid, yes.
Neither here nor there.
Unsaid,
but he's saying, I think he has arrogated the, explanation about that to himself by saying that Anyanwu must remain the,
National Secretary,
and then all litigations
should be withdrawn
against Rivers State, and it's like he has shifted the blame to Makinde. From maybe is it that Atiku has moved on? He believes that Atiku will not dissipate more energy to fight for the soul of the PDP.
Very well. And therefore, that has left him, as the last man standing, or if you like, now the de facto leader of PDP. And that's why he's now telling you that his next opponent is Makinde. I'm not so much, you see, what I don't understand is why Wike will insist that the PDP should not sue, over the emergency rule
so in a way he's being selective in picking what he feels.
Him, yes. Yeah. What favors him.
And is it that maybe he's been threatened by Makinde? We saw Makinde's posters in Kano, in Bauchi, and other northern states, towards the end of last week. Maybe he wants to now ground him, I don't know, in a way.
That's what I'm telling you, that he has now told you who his next opponent is. Now, if the impression is that Atiku has left the PDP for good, then Wike is telling you that the only threat to him now, taking over the PDP completely, is Makinde.
And he said at the time, still last week, that if they want peace, they should cede, the presidential ticket to the South. Some people say that most likely if they cede the ticket to the South, he will challenge Tinubu. But then a statement came somewhere that he said he will not challenge Tinubu.
He will not challenge Tinubu. What all Wike is doing, there are two things Wike is doing. Number one, he wants to make sure the cost is clear for Tinubu, that PDP does not whatsoever interfere with Tinubu's governance or his re-election. And then on the other hand, he wants to continue to be the godfather in River State. So he doesn't brook any interference in these two things.
Invariably fighting the war from different fronts. But now let's move to the second of our tidbit. We are shocked. ADC has been there for a very, very long time, participated in different elections, no crisis. So some of us political reporters were appalled where we heard that now there is a friction within the ADC, which is being touted as the next platform for Atiku and Obi in the event they agreed to coalesce into a force. What is your take on this? Can we say that this one is also instigated from outside?
Very well. Very well. You see, ADC has been a sleepy party. I recall that one of its presidential flag bearers,
Pat Utomi.
Yes, Pat Utomi.
Yes.
You understand. So since then, like I said, ADC has gone to sleep. But now...
But, I think in the last election, they didn't cross sixth position. Even in 2015, they hover
exactly
between fourth, fifth, and then sixth position.
That's why I say it's a sleepy party. But now it's like waking up the tiger by its tail. The fact that the coalition is looking for a platform and they have kind of settled down, for ADC.
Tentatively. Some people say it's still tentative.
Yes.
Because they are still consulting, but then it's like the newest bride in town.
Well, Atiku is one of the most formidable, presidential candidates. And Tinubu understands that Atiku's running is a serious business. Now, like you said, Atiku and other people, are tentatively considering ADC. But they are also having the tentative reactions that, look, if you want to come to ADC, this is the trouble we can make. So that's why, a group like LND, led by
Northern Democrats.
Yes, led by Malam Ibrahim Shekaru. That's why they left the door open that, look, it's either we find an existing platform or we register a new political party. I don't see why the opposition, this coalition, cannot, register a new political party and then run. Because as long as, they want to pick on any party, it will be instigated.
But the hurdles to form a new party. And will INEC actually give the green light? Because there are many stages that you have to pass. And I think some of them are thinking that if they don't have, another option, at the end of the day, they will be wandering on the streets.
They'll be wandering on the street, but I'm saying that the door is still not closed. It's still up to the opposition to actually register a new party. And if you are not able to register a new party, probably then you are not serious. Probably you are not really capable of.
Why do you think suddenly SDP is no longer,
I will tell you why. Because, there are credible reports that SDP has Bola Tinubu's DNA in it. As a matter of fact, SDP was Bola Tinubu's Plan B vehicle in case he's running on APC in 2023.
Ahead of 2023.
Yes, in case he had problem with APC. SDP was his Plan B.
You have evidence, or this is just what is being discussed out there? Or is it because he used that platform in 1992, right? To get to the Senate, from Lagos.
Yes, but I can tell you that one of the coalition, a very prominent person in the coalition told me this, that he was reliably informed by the very character, by the very person that, look, please help us clear the hurdles so we can run on APC. In any case, we have SDP on standby. So my informant is reliable.
Then can we say now El-Rufai maybe gamble to have gone there?
I think that, like Salihu Lukman said, you will remember the former national vice chairman of APC Northwest said Malam Nasir El-Rufai had jumped the gun. That according to talks they were having, it was too early, for Malam Nasir to go ahead and join the party. That he should have tarried a while. So I think that
Salihu Lukman must be really an insider into the workings of the.
Of course, Salihu. I think that Salihu Lukman was Malam Nasir's nominee, for that job of national vice chairman of APC in those days.
Oh yeah. So they know themselves very well. Yeah. Okay, now maybe we can seamlessly start the real conversation. A new group, National Political Consultative Group, North, in brackets, today held a meeting at the Continental Hotel here in Abuja. What is your take about this?
My take is that it's a very wonderful move. It's a very good move, and I'm happy that the heavyweights, if you like, of northern politics who are outside APC have attended it. I think that is a forerunner to an important counterweight, if you like, to what the APC is doing. And I have every hope. I believe that the consultative group will find its foot on the ground and be a harbinger, if you like, for a formidable party that to eventually challenge Tinubu.
Will it be different from the multitude of groups that we have in the north? Some have started suggesting that it's like they are fragmenting the north more than the way poverty is being fragmented in the region. You have Northern Stars, headed by Atayiru Bafarawa and Najatu. You have the League of Northern Democrats chaired by Mala Ibrahim Shekarau, and then convener is Dr. Umar Argo. You have the Northern Elders Forum, you have the Arewa Consultative Forum, you have the North Central Forum. Are we really getting it right in the north to confront the common enemy?
I don't think that the multiplicity of those groups or bodies is a problem at this moment. It is the same with everything in Nigeria. It's like the banditry. You have Dogo Gide, you have Bello Turiji, you have Kachaladis, you have that. But what they do, all of them damage, all of them kill, all of them murder, all of them rob, and destroy, socio-economic base, if you like, in the north. So I think that at the nick of time, in the fullness of time, all of these groups will coalesce. Don't forget, as long as their target is removing Bola Tinubu, then multiplicity of groups, even at this phase, if you like, at this moment, there's no problem with it. Don't forget that there are 2 solid years to election. So I think that they'll come around.
Some people are suggesting General Ali Uguso, that he's behind this one, and hence the kind of people you've seen. Do you think he might have a hand in it?
It's likely. General Ali Uguso being the top cop, being the spy master he likes to, play behind the scene, and you hardly see his hand, but I can tell you that he's very much interested in the political direction of not just the North, but Nigeria too. Don't forget that in around 2019 or so, there was going to, or even around 2023, I think, when Aminu Tambol and others were, slugging it out during the primary election in Port Harcourt. It was said that Ali Uguso and General Babangida and others intervened, and that was how Atiku was able to get the ticket. I can't remember whether it was in 2019 or 2023. But yes, Ali Uguso is very wealthy, is very much connected, and I know that definitely he will not fold his arms. He will be interested in what happens and surely he will be interested in forming a group that he thinks can challenge the status quo.
And do you think this group now, National Political Consultative Group, will ultimately swallow the others I mentioned, the Northern Star, the League of Northern Democrats? Of course, we will not say it will be able to swallow Iowa Consultative Forum, because that one is apolitical, but they ventilate their, grievance or whatever around the political terrain and all that. But do you think, going by the caliber of people we have seen today, that ultimately they will swallow those that sprang up in the aftermath of the 2023?
They may swallow them, they may reach out to them, they may cooperate with them, they may coalesce with them, but the fact that you've seen those formidable politicians and technocrats, and other, top notches, from the north at the Continental Hotel in Abuja this evening will tell you that the consultative group is well-grounded, is oiled and well-funded, and therefore, like I said, is going to play a very, very prominent role going forward in spelling out. You can see
in the pictures there, not to quote, you see Atiku, Adamu Maina Waziri, this is Kashim Imam,
very well.
Kumalia,
yes.
And look at Peter Obi,
yes,
exchanging pleasantries.
Exactly.
But something unique, Najaku,
yes,
about this gathering is even in the schedule of programs, they said, okay, goodwill messages from Southeast, from Southwest, from South-South. But we saw Peter Obi, for instance, receiving a lot of applause from the gathering. Can you interpret that for us?
Yes, the interpretation is that the consultative group is very, very serious. It has a very good reach and is taken serious by all of those people you saw gathering there. And the fact that Peter Obi made it to that gathering is remarkable. And you don't forget, since the demise of Nnamdi Azikiwe, Peter Obi is the most formidable presidential candidate to have come out from the Southeast.
Since Azikiwe?
Since Azikiwe.
What about Alex Ikweme and...
Alex Ikweme, was he really a presidential candidate? He didn't get the ticket, did he? He didn't get the ticket. He lost the ticket to Obasanjo. And earlier on, I think he had also lost it to Obasanjo. Alex Ikweme was in the forefront in the formation of PDP. But unfortunately, during the short transition program of General Abdul Salami Abubakar, Alex Ikweme and the founders of PDP were off stage, and they removed, Olusegun Obasanjo from the prison and gave him the ticket because they zonalized the presidency to the Southwest. You remember that his other opponent on APP platform was also Olufalai. But I tell you again, Peter Obi is a very, very formidable politician now. He has
what makes him formidable?
It's because, I was going there, it's because of the passionate followers that he has. It's because of the reach.
Can we say he's the Buhari of the Southeast of sorts?
Yes, he's a Buhari.
Because they say that, okay,
exactly.
Buhari, he had his fanatic 12 million votes.
Exactly.
That come rain, come shine,
exactly.
They are there for him.
Exactly. So the sentiment in Southeast, is suggesting a Peter Obi presidency. Don't forget, Peter Obi won Lagos in 2023. I think he won Benue.
With Tinubu on the ballot.
With Tinubu on the ballot.
He defeated him.
He defeated the Lagosian, the ex-governor of Lagos, called Bola Tinubu. And you know what he scored in Plateau and in Benue. So Peter Obi has basically, inherited that Zikist political followership. And I tell you that even in the North now, a lot of people, especially young people, especially educated people, are saying that it's time for a Southeastern president. And they see hope and promise in Peter Obi.
as a political analyst, Najanku.
That's why his presence at this consultative group, even going to the extent of delivering
a keynote address.
Yes, a keynote address is something worthwhile.
And that is what I want to ask. How significant is that? What message are these people of northern extraction are sending to Tinubu and the APC?
Very good question. I think the message to Tinubu is that minus him and his cabal, the entire country is against him. The northern politicians, the northern technocrats, and all those who gathered at Continental Hotel today understand something. Even though Peter Obi, like the politician he is, he said the North can change Nigeria.
Despite the endorsement, you know, last week it was actually, you know, contrary of endorsement by, is it the Northwest, is it the whole of the National Assembly? You know, we saw endorsement upon endorsement.
I will make this point, then come to those endorsements.
Okay.
So I'm saying that the message at the consultative group is that the North and the Southeast are about to have another handshake
across the Niger.
Yes, and if you remember, decades ago, there was, you know, there were alliances. In fact, fusion, if you like, between the Southeast and the North, whether it was during Tafawa Balewa or it was during Shagari. You know, so the message is that the North and the Southeast are working together to unseat Tinubu. And because there is also another thought, just like Sule Lamido said, Tinubu is an emperor. So how do you remove an emperor? You use blood, toil, and tears to remove an emperor. And what it means is that in 2027, Tinubu might not accept being defeated. And who knows, the struggle to remove Tinubu might spill over into Onitsha streets, Kaduna streets, Kano streets, Enugu streets, Owerri streets, and so on.
You speak in the same tongue as Babachir Lawal, who said the endorsement is almost nothing. Even the governors, they should just find their feet. Yes,
because you see, in the final analysis, Tinubu is coming face to face with the hungry people of Nigeria. There are 75% of Nigerians who are in the rural areas who are in abject poverty. And there are about 130 million Nigerians, as we talk, who have collapsed, who have fallen into poverty. These are the people that Tinubu is going to confront in 2027. Not people defecting, not people, you know, defecting to APC because maybe EFCC has scrambled some piece of paper before them, or it has telephoned them, or because somebody has promised them a ticket, or even outright winning of election, or because of their belly. Those are not the people who are going to deliver votes to Tinubu in 2027. It's the people that Tinubu has neglected. The over 100 million Nigerians who have descended into abject poverty, none of whom can claim gutter as his own, as his belonging. These are the people who are going to vote. And these are the people who are catching hell because of Tinubu's excruciating and cruel economy.
You no longer sound as a member of the APC, Najanku.
I'm still a current member of the APC, but that doesn't shut
rebellious one.
That doesn't shut me up, because like Malam Nasir El-Rufai said, APC left him. APC has also left me long ago. You see, every political party has an ideologue. Even Bola Tinubu now has abandoned the party, so to speak. He's going after personalities because he thinks that personalities can make Omar, you know, his
political ambition.
Yes.
And this seamlessly takes us to Kebbi State before we will open the line so that our viewers will ask you questions on some of these things we've discussed. Senator Alero, you know, Abdullahi, and they have all moved to APC. The party you just said has abandoned you. So where is the departure?
You see, I can tell you authoritatively that the people of Kebbi are singularly and severally disappointed with the defection of Senator Muhammad Adamu Aliru, Dr. Yahya Abdullahi.
I don't want to quote you, but we saw a crowd. We saw a crowd. Is it the 1,000 naira per person crowd during the depiction, even though they formally announced it here in Abuja?
I am not sure the crowd right now is with these 3 senators. It's unprecedented, and it's a very, very big scandal. 3 serving senators voted just less than 2 years ago on People's Democratic Party platform because they had defected to that party from APC, and because APC had denied them level playing ground, to contest for whatever they wanted to contest, and that was why they went to PDP. And people regarded, what APC did to them as injustice, and that's why people gathered around them. People voted for them, people supported them, and now all of a sudden, inexplicably, they defect again from PDP to APC. I can tell you that people in Kebbi, they are boiling. People see it as a breach of trust. People see it as unjust, and people think that it might well spell doom for their political ambitions. Look at Senator Mohammed Adam Aliru. This could be his 5th term in the Senate. He's a formidable politician. So people are still asking, why did Aliru suddenly defect from PDP to APC? They said leadership. They said there's no leadership in PDP. And then they say because of also the leadership in APC. There's no leadership in APC. What leadership?
You think it's non-sequitur according to grammarians?
Of course,
when we don't have cogent reason.
There is no cogent reason. There is no reasonable reason. Because if you say there is no leadership in PDP, you are a leader. Why don't you provide the leadership? And it's an irony because if you say there is no leadership in PDP and then you run to APC, you may also cause it leadership crisis. And look at Dr. Yahaya Abdullahi. This was a lecturer at ABU, Ahmadu Bello University.
Zaria.
He was in the cause, or if you like, the camp of people like Bala Usman. Then he came to Federal Civil Service. He was a powerful permanent secretary of the Niger Delta Ministry. He had good records there, almost unblemished. And the people of Kebbi North rallied around him because this was a guy also who ran for primaries in the gubernatorial primary against the incumbent governor Nasir Idris.
Yes.
And they scored him 0. They scored him 0. Probably he didn't vote.
He didn't even vote for
himself, right? Okay, and that was how he now crossed to PDP, and his followers followed him there, and they voted for him. And now this is the same Dr. Yahaya that's now coming to APC. When, like I said, 75% of Nigerians in the rural areas are falling into poverty, and then 130 million Nigerians also crashing into poverty, and you can be sure 70 or 80% of these poor people are from the farmers. Some of them from Argungu itself, some of them from Aleru, many of them from Kebbi, some of them from Zuru area, where Garba Maidoki, the greenhorn.
I wanted to ask, yes, why do you think he too?
Well, he just wanted to follow the crowd. He thought that Senator Adamu Aleru and Dr. Abdullahi were political oracles. And so since the oracle have moved, let me move. And you saw how this guy, Akpabio, the Senate president, embarrassed him. He said that since he told Senator Garba Maidoki that since he defected, he had kept quiet. Then he said APC. And then Senator Garba, right inside the Senate chamber, and then Senator Garba Maidoki said power. Whether it's power, he said, oh, power. Akpabio ridiculed him to say that Garba Maidoki was saying power, not power. That Garba Maidoki then couldn't speak, couldn't pronounce speak. Akpabio, what can Akpabio speak English? What does Akpabio know?
Now, beyond this, because we are actually trying to unravel, we even did a story. We spoke with some of the senators that defected, and we spoke with insiders and all that. Different reasons have been given, including maybe promise for automatic ticket. They say, is it contract? Is it that they will be off the hook of the anti-graft agencies? Because we've never seen this. Of course, we've been seeing defections in Nigeria, but this is unprecedented. 2 years into a tenure, people in their own right defecting to a ruling party. Are you privy to something that we don't really know as to why? Or is it just the crave to come back to the National Assembly?
I'm privy. Some of the reasons you gave were some of the reasons for which some of these senators...
But are they not rich? I don't know if we're talking about...
Yes, they are rich. But I was told also in good authority by a top politician that one of the senators who defected told him that, look, I'm off. I'm going to APC because I've been threatened. Because I've been told that EFCC is going to collect all of my belongings. And I just cannot allow that to happen, considering the sweat.
So when he joins APC, his sins are forgiven.
Yes.
It's the sanctuary now.
After all, this guy has said it, Adams Oshomole, during the 2019, you know, presidential.
You are forgiven.
Yes, that once you go to APC, all of your sins are forgiven. So part of the reasons truly were that there were reasons to believe that some of these senators, you know, their cases, their petitions with the FCC will be dusted up, and they will be, they will go for trial at the courts. But I also, let me say this, I read this report you said, which Daily Trust Niswa made. And one of the persons who was interviewed was Kawu Sumaila.
Yes.
And Kawu Sumaila, you know, used to be one of the young talks, if you like, of northern politics, particularly his senatorial district, you know, Kano South. You know, but the reason he gave for defecting Kawu Sumaila, I'm sorry, it's so disappointing. He said that Tinubu promised him whether it's 96 billion naira.
Well, I actually interviewed him. What he said was during his campaign, he told his people that he's going to fight for the reactivation of Tiga Dam and other dams in Kano. And since he came to the National Assembly, that was what he kept doing. And then he got approval even before he defected. So they are poles apart. His defection and the approval of the 96 billion naira contract for the reactivation.
So which one came first?
The contract.
How do you know?
What he told me.
He told you, why he didn't tell you the truth. His defection is tied to that approval. And look, where we got this, where we photocopied this democracy from. You don't defect to ruling party simply because it has approved irrigation, whatever, you know, for
but you know, Najanku, you can lobby to get, even in the US we have this pork barrel, right?
You can,
where
yes.
you use your position, you know, you influence projects to your constituency.
Yes, but as we are sitting down, I'm telling you that Senator Chuck Schumer of New York has not gone to Republican Party because President Donald Trump is doing something in his district, or because he threatened him or whatever. Senator Chris Murphy, who I saw, by the way, in a video clip, you know, at the top of his act, haranguing, scolding Christine Noem, the former governor of South Dakota and the current Homeland Secretary, you know, of US. Chris Murphy is a top-notch Democratic senator. He was doing his job of oversight, serious oversight. The same with Crockett, Jasmine Crockett.
So you are trying actually to establish, a parallel between what is happening in other climes and what is happening
between the original democracy maybe and the photocopy democracy. All of these three guys, I said, Senator Chuck Schumer, Chris Murphy, and House of Congresswoman Jasmine, they didn't cross over to Republican Party because of pressure from this guy, Donald Trump. And you know, Donald Trump is one of the most vindictive American politicians or presidents ever. But they are still staying put in their party. You have to stay put in your party to rebuild it. That's what democracy is about.
All right, thank
Government
you,
and opposition.
Yes, it's now time for us to actually allow
So it's a breach
some
of trust.
our
It's a betrayal
viewers to also say
for these guys to just cross to APC.
All right, thank you. I will still ask you a question on this after I'm opening the floor for our millions of viewers to contribute. Yes, it is now time for you, our cherished viewers, to use the telephone number on your screen. Call in and let's have your take on some of the issues we discussed with Najanku here in the studio. Yes, we already have one. Okay, hello, welcome to the studio. Yes, call in. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, who is on the line?
Alhaji Abubakar Chika from Bauchi is on the line.
Okay, Alhaji Abubakar from Bauchi.
Yes.
You are welcome.
This is a very interesting discussions and deliberations.
Thank you.
We want to, our opinion and the opinion of the greater percentage of Nigerians are waiting and willing and waiting for APC and their drama.
Okay.
I assure you, comes 2027, APC will come to know that the fight is between the 100 and almost 40 million Nigerians who are in anguish, poverty, hunger, and insecurity, with those that who think can sit in the villa and dictate the political calculations in the country. We assure you, the generality of the electorates are waiting. All that we are saying that the coalition should please try as much as they can to help us guide the process.
But Alhaji Abubakar,
by the time they fail to do that, I assure you that is the end of democracy in Nigeria.
Okay, Alhaji Abubakar, I want to ask you this question. You know, I asked Najanku here in the studio that we have multitude of these coalitions, especially in the north. Is it the Northern Star? Is it the League of Northern Democrats? Is it the Area Consultative Forum? Is it the Northern Elders Forum? Is it the Coalition of Northern Groups? Just to mention. Do you think they are not so fragmented that at the end of the day they may not really achieve anything tangible?
Don't worry. When the ships are down, I assure you they will come together, and I assure you APC will come to know that the real actual people who cares about Nigeria will show them the way.
All right. Thank you very much.
You shouldn't bother. And I assure you, and about Alero and the other ones Alhaji Abubakar is talking about, leave them alone. Leave them with the citizens of Kebbi. They will teach them a lesson of their life that they will never forget. All that we are praying that all those that are coming together to go into APC, they are digging their grave, and assure you. And I assure all of them, by the time that they will look up, they will realize it's like somebody who just died. He won't realize until when he is in the grave.
On a lighter note, are you a member of APC or PDP, or you don't belong to any?
Well, I belong to, for now, I am on my own.
All right, thank you very much, Alhaji Abubakar. Alhaji Abubakar, he said he's actually on his own. He didn't even decide a political party, but it's like he echoed what you said, that it is the citizens that will decide who will lead them in 2027. But what is your take? Will there be implosion, I mean, in APC, going by the way and manner people are flooding the...
It will implode either ahead of election or after election, because some of the people who, misguided persons, if you like, who defected there, could go there and find out that it's not as rosy as they imagined.
I will have loved to ask you about what will happen in Kebbi, maybe between Bagudu and Alero or any of the other. Listen, I don't know whether they are of the same senatorial zone, Bagudu.
They are
and
in the same senatorial.
But it's like we have another caller. Maybe after we pick you talk on this. Hello. Hello, good evening. Who is on the line? Okay, we lost the call. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we have another one. Sorry, Najanku. Yes. Hello.
Hello. Good Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Politics.
Yes, you are speaking with Vincent. Well, I'm calling from Akwanga.
Okay, Nasarawa State.
Yes.
You are welcome, Vincent.
Yes, sir. Sir, what is here is that, to me, from the perspective of what is happening in KB State from Aleru. Hello?
Yes, we are with you.
Aleru have benefited politics enough from KB State. I am not from KB State, but what is happening, just like Farouk Lawan that happened to be in Kano, that happened to be arrested. You see the way the government happened to disgrace it. So we are not praying whether you happen to defect from PDP to APC, your sin has been forgiven. The nemesis is there, and everybody is seeing it. So if human being cannot arrest you, God Almighty will use other ways to replace you. That is my take on it.
Thank you, Vincent. We hope you call some other time. Thank you. Yes. Okay. I said the issue of implosion. You think it will be a battle of the titans again? Yes.
You can be sure, Nigerians, with their idiosyncrasies, with their selfishness, and so on and so forth. They could go to a group. Once the group becomes big, then they find out that it cannot accommodate all of them. And talking about Kebbi, I'm from the same senatorial district as Senator Adamu Aleru, and
that's why you spoke
and
eloquently about
yes, because Aleru's and Yahiya's and Garba Maidoki's defection is disrespectful of the voters. It's a shame. It's a great scandal, like I said, and it's a breach of trust. But I can tell you that I understand that Atiku Bagudu is interested in, contesting for the senatorial election in 2027.
Okay, you think he's interested?
I understand he's interested.
Okay, we have a caller. You will land on that. Yes, hello? Maybe this should be our last caller so that you now... okay, hello? Who is on the line? Hello?
Who's on the line?
Yes.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good evening, yes.
Good evening, sir.
We are with you. Introduce yourself and then go ahead.
John is my name. I'm calling from Kaduna.
Okay, you are welcome, John.
I want to appreciate this program.
Thank you.
And I want to let our guests know that 2027, nothing will stop Tinubu from winning 2027.
You are entitled to your opinion, John. Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, inshallah. Yes, they not deceived us for APC, and we are in APC, and we are going to support Tinubu full time 2027.
What are your reasons? What are your reasons? What are your reasons that you will support him? What has he done unique for you, John? Or it's just about sentiment? I don't know.
No, sincerely, it's not issue of sentiment. It is not issue of sentiment. It's an issue of the truth. The people, your guest is given example, the Nasir El-Rufai and the rest are people that damage Nigeria. Are people that made us to know APC is good that time. So they can't come out in their failure and lie, coming to tell us that they are going to fight Tinubu 2027. They have failed.
So if I understand, John, if I understand you are going to vote for Tinubu not because of performance, but you want to take the pound of flesh of those who actually convinced you to vote for Tinubu. Is that correct?
No.
Okay.
No. Tinubu, the economy is changing. The hardship we are facing is the North. It's the same. Buhari damaged Nigeria. The North kept quiet. Now it is Tinubu they want to tell us what they want. It will not work. Tinubu is the president 2027.
All right.
The Middle Belt will support him. The Southeast will support him. The Southwest will support him.
All right, John.
The 7 states of the North has failed.
Okay, John. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much, John, for calling. A different perspective to the conversation.
Well, I don't know if John gets regular electricity supply in his place. I don't know how much he buys a liter of petrol. But I buy a liter of petrol for my car, sometimes 900, sometimes 1,000 naira. And during Buhari, he might have damaged Nigeria, but during Buhari, I was buying it for less than 200 naira. And certainly the electricity supply was much more regular. And now Tinubu said if he doesn't give us electricity in 4 years, we should kick him out.
But he's just 2 years into the...
Yes, but meanwhile his minister is saying we need an investment of $10 billion every year for 20 years to be able to get regular electricity. What is he saying? He's saying that even by 2027, we should forget it. There will be no regular electricity supply. So these are the things that matter to me. I don't care about John's grouse against Nasir El-Rufai. I am seeing the effect of Tinubu's maladministration in me and in my community.
Okay, what is your final word? This should be in 30 seconds because we've come to the end of the program for the coalitions and all that. So what do you think? So that Nigerians will not be confused.
My message to those in coalition is simple. They should put aside their ego, they should bury their ambition for now, and they should have singleness of purpose in driving this coalition. There is no doubt about it that the ground is very much fertile for the defeat of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027 because of the fact that his political and economic policies have caused unspeakable poverty, in this country. And the hope he's talking about has turned into depression and disappointment for the people.
All right, Abubakar Na Janku, thank you for coming and for your informed perspective on all the issues we raise in the course of this program. We will have you some other time.
You're welcome.
And for those who tried to call, no time, please, our apologies, try your luck next week. For those who succeeded, we have given you the opportunity to actually ventilate your own opinion on the happenings in the country. Join us tomorrow for Daily Politics on Trust TV. From here, thank you. I am Hamza Idris.